Oh, Steve Kerr. Oh, Steve Kerr. Let's get you in here now. You up here talking about Nikola Jokic is the greatest center ever. Am I reaction? You came out here and said you saw the final year of Kareem, and I wouldn't even said nothing idiotic like that. You said the final year of Kareem, who was still putting up 10 because his skyhook couldn't be stopped. A man who still was playing defense, who he played the 5 years of his last 5 years of his career because he had lost his home and his jazz collection, and he still was able to average 10 points a game and still help the Lakers go to the finals. Let that sink in. He was the starting center, still playing at enough level to go to the finals. Jokic has only been to one. How are you going to be an authority on the best centers? But if Kareem is your standard, you'd have been better off not saying a word. The man is only considered the greatest high school player, center, greatest college player ever, college basketball player. Jokic hasn't hit that park. If you want to say he's one of the greatest players ever, fine. We can debate. When you say the greatest center ever, you haven't seen enough in totality to make that kind of argument. You haven't seen anything about Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and you only said you got to play against Kareem his last year. Not a smart move, Steve Kerr. Now, regardless of how you feel about Shaq, that's on you. You know. But, to say remarks like that just shows you that you're bought and paid for it with the system to say that. Maybe he might be considered the GOAT center of the year because he was eating up Golden State for breakfast until the Jimmy Butler with his past game. They was clocking you out the last few years. He was out currying with them threes and hitting shots. But he ain't winning. So how is he the greatest center you ever seen? What's a resume look like? League MVPs are great, but they don't tell the totality. I have a problem when you sit there and say some stuff like that. Then you got the nervous about you caught Kareem his last year. And I remember Kareem's last year that swept against the Pistons and he ended. That's not how you exactly talk like that. I got to think of a center who retired on the top of his game that I go, oh, yeah, he went out and we wondered if he could still play. Not someone who was on the last legs. You know how idiotic that sounds? I mean, you really got to say stuff and you just saying stuff because it's fashionable. Because you'll sit here and everybody plays today is so great. Everybody's so good. Everybody's kumbaya. Everybody ain't like that. Now, before people come at me and say, oh, you joker, let him win a couple more rings, then get back to me. Let him win a couple more rings, couple more finals MVPs. Make that team. That team is no scrubs. So stop acting like the Nuggets ain't a top quality team. What is the definition of a top quality team in the West anyway? Because once we get past OKC, what else do you have? Everybody's in the same boat. They all drawn and tied together. The Lakers made one move, got better. Houston is a young team, got a great coach. Golden State made a move. They're a veteran. There's only one that's a veteran. But my point is, what's this all this here? Everybody's in the same boat pretty much, except for OKC. So what's the excuse? And wouldn't that dominance rub off on that team? Wouldn't it? See, this is the problem I have. And I know, I'm looking at the whole totality. Michael Malone ran his mouth, and the Nuggets have underachieved. If he was dominant like Shaq was, I would have no problems with saying, and I'd still say for his era. You need to stop this generalization about, oh, he's the great of what? Who he played against. Who has he played against that would anoint him as the greatest? League has he dominated? As an offensive force, he's one of the greatest offensive forces, period. Not just a center anywhere, period. Because he can shoot anywhere and beat you in different ways. But was he done as a center that that has been so. I mean, side his numbers are great. I'll give him that. But what is he ran with? See what you do when you say stuff like that. Okay, I'm about dubs. I'm about postseason. I'm not about all this regular season. Everybody looks fine and dandy in the regular season, but what happens when we get to the money time? We get to the bag time, where you really make your legacy. Where you at there? Now, he don't fool around and go to no more finals. And I want to give a shout. It was in Two Raw for Sports. There was a cat that responded to what I had said about him. He said it'll be like Aaron Rodgers. Shout out to that cat that said that. Because that might sadly be Jokic's legacy. He might be a cat that wins a bunch of regular season MVPs, but only gonna have one chip to show for it. And all this hoopla and hype about how he's this, but we need to see rings. And don't become the Aaron Rodgers of centers, because I don't want to hear about he's the baddest man and he's all that, and then he always chokes under pressure. Especially, and the thing that makes Joker's situation where you gotta be careful with what you say. There's no dominant. There's no other real centers out there. So he better be looking like he's busting cakes. But if he don't, it's gonna look kind of fraudulent. It's gonna look stat paddish. So we gonna see when Steve Kerr coming here with these kind of remarks. Let me know what you think though, because I'm holding him to standards, not just because what he do in the ring. I'm gonna see some standards. Get some finals appearances, compete for the jewelry. Not no token MVP or crying about if Shea wins or crying about that he didn't get. That's nice, but that's not the big prize. And not no in season church horseshoe race. That don't count either. That don't count either. You know. I'm talking about the ring. Not no don't get excited like Damian Lillard did about getting the in season, how that goes. That don't count. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like it. The membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.